Dear friends in Dhamma, so we are going to start the last Dhamma discussion. So we have received a couple of reports and we'll start the session with written reports.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 4 reports today.
Yeah.
Report number 1, Most Venerable Bhante, sitting meditation. I commence sitting meditation with focusing on rising and falling of the abdomen. After about 5 to 10 minutes, I go to a state that I can't remember what happened, sleep or not. Then I get body sensations and continue my meditation, seeking your guidance. Thero and Saranai.
Yeah, this is possible at different levels. So that's what we need to check at what stage you are really experiencing it. So for example, even when you assume that you are practicing Anapanasati and the breathing becomes subtler and subtler and ultimately almost like disappeared, and there is no such object to pay attention, and the mind almost like can fall asleep. That's also one possibility because there is no any gross object to pay attention. So that one thing is that since there is no such object, so the mind ultimately fall asleep. Mostly it can happen. The other thing is, say you practice further Vipassana, maybe Anapanasati or maybe Dhatu Manasikara or Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana. So you develop fair amount of wisdom, seeing their true nature, how they are impermanent, how unsatisfactory, how non-self, all that. A fair amount of insight can happen. And so as a result of that insight, so mind start letting go, mind start non-grasping things. Rather than attaching, rather than holding things, it keeps holding, letting go of things, abandoning things, relinquishing things. On such case also, you experience at a more deeper level kind of a unassociated state of mind. There is nothing to associate. Everything is given up. Everything is let go of. There is no object. That one thing at that level also you can fall asleep. Or you have to have some vigilance. Without an object, am I able to maintain mindfulness? So this is a kind of a tricky area. So immediately we can't figure it out what's really happening. So again and again we need to continue the practice. Again and again we need to reach that area. And further we need to refine our mindfulness, sharpen our mindfulness. Then we can verify what's really going on. So you yourself have to know exactly what is really going on. Am I falling asleep? Am I go almost like an objectless state? Everything is fine. I mean, stepping into an objectless state is quite all right. And while you are there, are you able to maintain some vigilance, some awareness? Or you fall asleep, or you feel almost like unconscious. Everything can happen. So if you like to participate in the discussion, then we can have a good discussion. Yeah. You can come forward, please. So which one you think?
Not exactly sure, Bhante. One is when I start the sitting meditation, then I look at the dominant one,
right,
which is whether it can be rising and falling. Then sometimes it shifts to the pain or some thoughts, whichever way,
right,
which is dominant, I continue. And then after some time...
So what is your observation?
Like, let's say if it is the breath or the rising and falling, it subsides. And it's difficult to differentiate whether it's in-breath or out-breath.
Right.
And sometimes you see even the breath, though it is one, it has different, like about 2-3 coming in the same way.
Right.
Even in the pain, it can be certain vibrations. It goes up and comes down.
Right.
And certain instances when I note it, the painful vanishes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to somewhere else. Then it can also increase and decrease in the sense the intensity.
So if I ask another question, so while you are observing that, is this state going to happen? What you are going to?
No.
No?
No.
Then when is it happening?
I'm not sure, because I can relate once it is finished and when the body sensation rise again, then I can visualize.
Right.
Then I continue.
Right. So if it is not available, anything is not available for you to pay attention, then what are you going to do? So it could be the kind of the vague area that we are talking.
Okay.
So different phenomena are there. They show their true behavior, that coming and going, arising and passing away. So, and as a result of our observation, we develop certain amount of a wisdom, and then that wisdom caused the whole thing to give up, to relinquish. So at that level, there can be a kind of a transition. So where you are stepping into an objectless state.
Just about twice it happened like that, or some time back, like the entire body got dissolved.
Exactly. So you can't feel the body, almost like dissolved, almost like disintegrated. That is possible. Yeah. So actually you don't need to pay attention to the body. You can look at the mind at that time, and there may be certain thoughts, maybe minor images, perceptions. You can drop them as well, and so that you are getting more and more clear mind. Nothing is there, by the way. Complete clarity is there, but just be with that.
Okay.
So you don't need to invite thoughts, you don't need to pay attention to the body at that time. It's a very interesting area what we are exploring. So just be without an object. So there are several possibilities while we are there. So one possibility is we might get frightened. Nothing is there, nothing to hold, nothing to stand on. So we might get frightened. That is one thing. The other thing is you feel bored and you fall asleep. That's another thing. Third thing may be, even without an object, you can be quietly, properly, happily stay there. Happily in the sense not with so much of happiness, kind of equanimously, you can stay there. So that is the best you can do. So you need to go through this. So it's a very interesting area. Yeah. Thero. Yeah, one moment, yeah.
Swamin Maharaj, that stage, sometimes I fall asleep, but sometimes, I don't know, it's like I am not fully awakened like this, but not sleep also. I know I am not sleeping, but it's like almost sleeping.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's very difficult to differentiate. So actually now the science has recognized the samadhi. Typical samadhi is very much like in between that typical restless active mind and the sleeping mind. Now typically our minds are restless, scattered and talking and completely active, so-called active. Typical, undeveloped mind, we are calling it is active. When you're dealing with multitasking and all that, our mind has a certain active type of a thing. That is one extreme, we can say. The other extreme is we go to the deep sleep. Now, the samadhi is in between. It is not sleeping, it is not that kind of a restless active. Rather, it is in a, conscious, silent, kind of a peaceful state that we can say the samadhi. So, it can happen either in the samatha or vipassana. So in the vipassana, the difference is there is no object as you go farther. So there is no such object for you to pay attention because everything was given up. But still mind is not sleeping. Mind has to be active, but again it has to be peaceful. A kind of a peaceful, active mind without an object.
Active means like this.
Active means it's not, restless.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's like far away cloud like something, but can't focus to that and see it's passed away. But it passed away anyway. But just like not like the beginning. Beginning we watch now it's passing away.
Correct.
But at that time it's not watching. it goes.
You don't need to purposely watch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, you are sure that it is passing away, so you don't bother about it.
Yeah.
You mind your own business.
No business at all.
No business. Nothing, no business. Yes. No problem.
But it's almost like sleeping. But
almost like sleeping. Yeah,
but not,
we can say so. Yeah, almost
because
like
sometimes I fall asleep and then I
Correct.
know I slept.
Yes.
But
yes.
this is
But that's
different.
the thing. Now, can you get the same thing while walking?
Not that fast. Not that far.
No, that's the problem. So while sitting, we introduce a little bit of more concentration into the picture. So therefore, we feel like more into that concentration side. But in the walking, same is experience, but no concentration. So you see things, hear things, and the touch and all that happens. Amidst all that, still the mind has no object. Mind doesn't want to pay attention to any of these. It can take care of itself. It's maintaining that calmness or peacefulness, unattached nature, still available. So therefore, verify these two. So the walking also you are gaining it, but at a very shallow level.
Yeah.
But at the sitting level, you are introducing a little bit of more concentration. So your mind go to a little deeper. While being deep, you still experience the objectless state. So which one you prefer?
I prefer the sit and sit.
So that's the problem.
Advise me to walk.
Exactly. You should better go for walk rather than be in the fridge. Because the thing is, if you spend too much of time in that state, so it is under the influence of samadhi.
Yeah.
So I think I one day shown one example. Now say this is the kind of a mind, and assume that I am holding something and getting closer to it. So I am going closer, and I am going deeper. At one level I will hit the bottom. Right? So that is where I almost like absorb to the concentrated state. That is too much. So what level are we going to maintain? Do we really need this kind of a protection? Or can I stay even here without any trouble? Something like that. We are talking something like that. So the samadhi is something like this. Say you can have the protection coming through the samadhi. But at one level it can get absorbed. That is the bottom. That's too deep, and you have no way to escape. Almost like you absorb, you become that. So that is the absorption. But do you now say for Narahant, for example, he doesn't need it even. So he may stay here, no defilements. But for us, we need this kind of a protection because the defilements are always attacking. Maybe we can imagine like a picture like that.
Yeah.
So defilements are always trying to disturb us. So we go here and try to protect ourselves. But slowly we need to come up. Rather than going deep, you need to come up and being vulnerable. Say you are here. In case you get more trouble, then you can go quickly. But in case there is no trouble, you can stay here. You don't need to go in. So likewise, kind of an experiment. So that's why Buddha say even the Animitta Samadhi is conditioned. The Animitta Samadhi is conditioned. So you come out of it. You let it break. And see why it has broken. So then only it will start expanding. Rather than you go to a deep Samadhi and making a kind of a safe barrier. Rather you consider that also is impermanent. I better come out of it. Let it break. Doesn't matter. But what's the reason for it to break? Maybe a defilement, maybe a thought, maybe a sign. So that you need to slowly abandon. So the mind starting the purification process. So the purification is the most important thing, or the reducing the defilements, recognizing them and letting go of those defilements. So that is the most important thing. So that should be our aim. Pahana Ramo, Pahana Ratu. That's why Buddha emphasized, the yogi has to attune to this Pahana Ramata. So I need to abandon the kilesas, I need to abandon the defilements. So that should be one of the aims, rather than simply suck into some sort of a deep state. Time to time you can stay there and get some kind of being there, you get a refreshment, like, because no disturbance, nothing, no signs, and you feel more safe, escape from everything, and you have a kind of a safe abiding. Doesn't matter. But that is only for you to get a rest. Yeah.
Report number 2. Most Venerable Bhante. Sitting meditation. Paid attention to now I am seated. Felt inhalation and exhalation. It became subtler and disappeared. Felt touch points, especially the hands, the body parts contacted with the chair and foot. The hardness of the above areas were observed for some time. While there was subtle hardness in above, visually there was blue color, then mixture of blue and black. No thoughts, but active knowing element was there. This color then changed to white, then to a light blue color and something like transparent finally. With the appearance of the colors, the sensation of body was not there as everything got integrated to the external environment. Basically, it's just one thing without boundaries, but there was darker blue appearance to give an indication that there is a hard component too. Then everything became like clouds. It was moving up like what we see down below a rocket. The knowing element decided to let go of active knowing. Then there was peaceful awareness without anything but some transparent visual awareness. Although there was initially disappearance of self, there wasn't any fear as I have experienced similar situations before. Within brackets, initially I got frightened as the experience was like I was going to die. Brackets closed. Then she's talking about walking meditation as well. Walking meditation. Body is walking. Seeing, hearing and sensation of foot, clothes touching, etc. were happening. Her question number 1. In sitting meditation, when I am doing at home, can I keep my eyes open like in walking? The second part. I am trying to be in the present moment from the time I get up until I go to sleep. Even when I am working, if I do one thing at a time without sending mind in or out and not getting attached to or suppress anything, hope I am in the present moment. May the peace a countless number of people are experiencing as a result of the efforts of all venerables at Nissarana Vanaya be a blessing to realize Nibbana in this very life. Thero Sarana.
Yeah, few things. May I know who has written it? Yeah. Shall we have a little discussion? Yeah. Now, one thing is this as far as I can see from the that lights and it turns into different color and ultimately transparent. So this is more into the nimittas and samatha side. So that's what I want to say. So are you practicing? You are practicing Anapanasati, are you?
Yes.
Right.
Anapanasati and Anapanasati. I start with Anapanasati.
Right.
And then when I don't feel Anapanasati, then actually my mind goes to like the touch points wherever there is touch, and then basically that also disappears.
Right.
So then, because sometimes what happens is like this whole light blue color, the colors also comes.
When
with
is
that.
It coming?
It is mostly with this whole disappearance, like when sometimes when this, because like then you don't feel that there is a body. It's like, the environment and everything, it's a kind of a continuum. There is no boundary.
Right.
So at that time, then what I can feel is that only that color.
Understood.
That blue, sometimes it changes, like into blue
different
and
colors, yes,
blue, and then there is black a little bit here and there, and then to white sometimes.
Right.
And then there is no color.
So that means you are carefully watching it.
Yes.
So you are simply watching the color, that type of image, that light,
yes.
and it is now changing or evolving to different colors.
Yes.
Ultimately, are you get sunk into it, absorbed to it, immersed in it?
Not really. I think if you look at this experience, is today's experience.
Yeah.
So it is sometimes, yes, Bhante, let's say example, there are some days, it almost like more like it is black, right? Mm-hmm. And there is nothing. And then, however, it is, I think, like the other experience explained, because you get a kind of a feeling of, whether it is not sleeping. Actually, I know that I'm not sleeping. At the same time, sometimes I get, sometimes there are certain questions and there are certain answers, but these situations, I haven't experienced in this life, some, I don't know, from somewhere, something, so that is there, but, it's there is nothing, but, sometimes,
some images are
here
coming
and there, some conversations, some questions. Something is happening, so that kind of a thing is there. But
no, those you don't need to worry even. I mean, because when the mind becomes subtler, so certain images can appear, certain sounds can happen, and certain such kind of thoughts can happen. So those are little, garbage coming into the picture. You don't need to worry. Yeah. So those are the hidden kind of perceptions available in the mind. So in one way, it is a kind of a trick. So you don't need to much pay attention. Let them go.
Yeah.
So now, one thing is, so it's still, as far as I can see, you are continuing with some other kind of a practice, even here, because you haven't stepped back and start contemplating things. So seeing things, maybe bodily phenomena or feelings or your own thoughts, how thoughts are coming and going, how they are behaving, or bodily phenomena, how they are rising and passing away. So such kind of an experiment you haven't done yet.
I think, Bhante, because since I have been meditating for quite some time, those things I think I did actually, if you look at, basically, whatever sensation coming and paying attention so that it is going, and then understanding of these elements, like hardness, softness, and that also basically, when I actively did that, yes, that I did.
Once when you were actively doing that, what happened?
After some time, it is like it's the disappearance of the whole thing, right? That whole integration. But it is not that always that I get these colors, not always, but at sometimes I get this, mostly it is a kind of a light blue, like that, because when something is not there, it become that, visually I feel that there is this
blue
color. And at the same time, it's like in that level there is awareness is there, right? There is, like, you cannot identify that, because there is no that active knowing, because let's say example, if there is active knowing, like we can really, there is thoughts and like you can identify something, there is not something like that.
Correct.
That awareness is there, that about that's the only thing which is there.
So you ultimately we can say the mere awareness is there, but in order for active knowing, there is nothing is there.
Yes.
Is it correct? So
yes.
There is nothing for me to actively know, but
yes.
a kind of a soft awareness is there.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Now, then you need to ignore the color.
Okay.
Because this color becomes another object then.
Yes.
So you are stepping into the objectless area, but color appears. Now you give prominence to the color. Now color is an object for you. Your mind again established on the color then. So another perception. So basically, if you are now better I feel give more emphasis to the Vipassana now.
Okay.
Because if you are now trying to experience some kind of a blissful experience coming through the samatha type of an approach, then our mind might prefer that. We may step into that. So rather, probably you can start with the typical, sensations or the bodily phenomena, how they are coming and going, so that you are further strengthen the Vipassana side, the wisdom side. As a result of that, mind start letting go of everything. Ultimately, mind become almost like nothing is there, objectless, what we discuss these days. So ultimately, nothing is there for it to hold on. Ultimately, let go of the whole thing, and ultimately, very much like unassociated, independent type of a mind. So that you need to touch anyway. Okay. So to keep that as kind of a goal in your practice. So once you step into that, be there. Just be there. Because you need to familiarize in that area. We are again and again through Vipassana, through Satipatthana, we are achieving that, and we need to be there now. Just be there. So as we discussed last day, so all these are very much like the scaffolding. And now using the scaffolding, we have built a beautiful house. So let us be in the house. Let us build in the house. So while being there, you feel more and more stabilized, more and more familiarized to that state. Objectless, no stress, no I, no person, and very pleasant, calm, relaxed, equanimous. All these different qualities are there. So you need to fairly familiarize with it, whole thing. So use that as your base then.
Okay.
Every time you are stepping that and be there, you familiarizing with it and dwell more and more there. So it becomes the norm of the mind then.
Okay.
Rather than being in the phenomena, now you using the phenomena, you develop fair amount of wisdom, you step into this area, let that be your norm of the mind.
Yeah.
Default of the mind. That has to be.
Okay.
That is the one level of our achievement in the Vipassana.
Yeah.
Because we operate as a person, an individual, and operating with all these, the aggregates and all that. So that is our typical mundane, the typical level. But now we develop certain wisdom and step out of that. And now while here, we again need to see how again I am returning back to this old state. Again, I making happens, mind making happens, all that, the ignorant type of a behavior happen. Now while being here, we can observe. Then we can reduce that, and this becomes the fairly kind of a normal state of the mind, default state of the mind. So therefore, while being there, it may be possible that different colors to appear, different signs to appear, thoughts to appear, but let them come and go. Don't give any much emphasis to them. Because if you add any value to them, any importance to them, we get trapped.
Yeah.
What is your walking experience?
Walking experience, Bhante, it is like, yes, I see things, like hearing happens, but it is just walking.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like I get thoughts, sometimes, like mostly without thoughts, I can just walk.
You can walk without thoughts.
Yeah, just walk. But, like seeing is happening, hearing is happening. And
when it happens, is your mind maintains its clarity and the peacefulness?
Yes.
Without being disturbed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
But, like it's not 100%. Sometimes I get thoughts, sometime here and there, like maybe I see something and, like that happens. Fine. It is not 100%.
How long you attach to that? Fraction.
Yes. Then I realized that it happened. But, sometimes when some thought comes, let's say example, if I have to do something tomorrow kind of a thing, it may take, little time, for me to really, go back to that, whatever the initial level. But other than that, yes.
Understood. So just familiarize with that also. Now say, while walking, just have a very soft awareness of the mind. You let the eyes see things, let the ears hear things, but you are taking care of the mind. Mind has to be quiet, no much thoughts, no much lingering with any of these, involvement with any of these. Basically, that soft, equanimous awareness has to be maintained.
Yeah.
Good.
And also, Bhante, the question that I asked, like let's say example in sitting meditation, sometimes not in these kind of places we have to close eyes because there are a lot of things.
Right.
But let's say if it is at home, like can we do
possible,
sitting
definitely.
meditation like with open eyes so
definitely
that
possible. Yeah.
It's okay.
You can see, you can simply, probably you might even feel that when you close your eyes, you feel little artificial like even.
Yeah.
And once you open your eyes, you feel more relaxed, maybe more effortless. It is possible. But the only thing is, if your eyes open and many objects are still little disturbing your vision, then that is a little bottlenecked.
Yeah.
That's why we simply close our eyes. Another thing is you make your room pitch dark and then open your eyes.
Okay.
That's also another technique.
Okay.
So completely dark, and there in the darkness you simply open your eyes, almost sightless. Very, very easy to achieve. You can't see anything. And actually, you know that there are certain people, going for such dark type of, like in the sense, they purposely go for such retreats. Complete darkness is there, so they want to be in that darkness. So such meditations are also there. When once you reach certain stage, so the mind might prefer that. Because mind doesn't want to, bothered by so many objects. Let me be quiet. Let me relax without all this, the burden. It's all right. Time to time, a kind of a healing process.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
Report number 3. Most respected Bhante, I worship Bhante and wish to share few meditation experiences based on this retreat, please. Walking meditation. Most of the time manage to walk without thoughts. As an experiment, I check the nature of my mind while I am walking during the daytime and during the dark time. More preference and good experience gained while walking during the dark time. Today, early morning, I walked in the dark place and got a very calm and relaxed mind. At the end of the walking path, when I closed my eyes, I just went to a deep dark place. After a few times, I was able to open my eyes within brackets, not physically. And I was able to spread my mind to far away. While opening my third eye, also I did not see anything and only darkness experienced. Sometimes I did not feel the touch sensation while doing the walking too.
Sorry, can you repeat that statement?
Sometimes I did not feel the touch sensation while doing the walking too.
Yeah.
Then sitting. Do you want me to read sitting?
Yeah.
Okay. Sitting meditation. Today morning I experienced different sanya continuously and those are not familiar to me. Even though I reminded them as sanya, continuously experienced them like in dreams. Further, during the sitting time, I felt there is some unknown thing in my mind, but I was unable to clearly identify it. Then, without further analyzing it, I just went to walking meditation again. The sanya also I cannot remember after opening my eyes. Day to day. During the last few days, while I am physically worshipping Bhante, I experienced a dark place when I am placing my forehead on the ground, and it was a very calm and deep state. Yesterday, while listening to Dhamma sermon, I went to a very calm state and some Dhamma points were not heard by me. Finally, again next to dark place when chanting. Finally, again went to dark place when chanting the Gatha. As an experiment, today I did 2 tasks at once. Example 1, did a walking meditation and listened to a Q&A online session. 2, clean the garden and listen to the Q&A online session. In both scenarios, I pay my attention to the mind and it was in calm state. Based on all my experiences, I think I should pay more attention to sitting meditation practices. I pay my great gratitude to Bhante on giving all the guidance and humbly request your advice, please. Thero Saranai.
The last statement that I need to pay more on the sitting meditation, I don't like to agree with that. Because we may prefer that dark place or dark type of an experience and complete seclusion. Maybe, if necessary, you may have it. So the point is the balancing. So balancing of the faculties. So what amount of concentration is needed for me? Is it enough what is having right now, or is it not enough? Because if we don't have enough concentration, the mind becomes restless. We can't quickly come back to the calmness. Say, for example, you have a discussion with someone, conversation with someone. Now the conversation is over. How long will it take to be calm? Is there any thing that you have discussed still popping up in the mind, disturbing your mind, certain amount of restless nature, still agitation, still available in the mind? Or once the conversation is done, gone, you are in a complete calmness, no thoughts, and again you are back in the emptiness, we can say. So such kind of a very quick switching, if it is possible to happen, so that means the signless, objectless, very calm, relaxed, peaceful, silent nature of the mind has become very much the norm. We don't need to further, in the sense, we are in a good shape in that cell. But assume that you went through certain issue and certain disturbances have happened and went through some difficulties and had an argument and all that certain, has gone through certain friction. And you now, everything is over, but still mind is talking about it, thinking about it, worrying about it. So that means you need certain amount of a calmness. So you need to get into the sitting and relax, calm down, maybe if possible, let go of the everything and mind become, as you said, no signs, now everything is dark, and stay there, refresh the mind, necessary. So therefore, depending on the circumstances, you can select how long I need to stay here and how long I don't need to stay there. So something like that. Because too much concentration also, kind of a disadvantage at this level. Because if we spend too much concentrated state, so that concentration power is also a very powerful factor to reduce the defilements. So it is, we need to see whether because of the knowing of the defilements they are not coming, or they are not coming because of the concentration. That's a problem. So if we spend too much long time in the concentration, so that influence is there in the mind for a long time. So later, probably, so we might even have a wrong assumption. Okay, now no hindrances, no lust, no hatred, nothing is there. So likewise, we might even overestimate ourselves. But still the tendencies are still available in the mind. Hidden tendencies, the anusaya, asava, still available. Since we were associating a very high concentration, so they are very much like subsided. So therefore, how much concentration we need and how much we need to expose is always kind of an adjustment, always kind of an exploration for us to continue. Depending on the circumstances, depending on the day, depending on the daily activities, what we are going through, everything has to be adjusted. So yesterday's recipe might not work today. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Avasarai Bante.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how I am getting the concentration also.
Mm-hmm.
My most preference when walking, close the eyes. When
walking, close the eyes.
The eyes, and sitting, open the eyes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I am going in the reverse way.
Different way, yeah. Fine. Mm-hmm.
But when closing, that problem is coming. I cannot stay more time. When closing the eyes, sitting meditation, I cannot.
I did get you. Sorry?
When closing the eyes,
right.
I cannot get more good experience when sitting.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I am not getting any concentration also.
Uh-huh. So while sitting, where is your mind?
No, I can just stay.
I can't just?
Just stay.
Just stay. Mm-hmm.
Previously I had elements, vibration of elements. Now also not coming.
Nothing is there.
Yeah,
So your
breathing.
mind just stay without an object, just calm, relax, still. That's okay. Yeah. So I mean, since your eyes are open, you can see things.
Yeah, it's
but
not
mind does not register any of these and land upon any of these.
No.
But still, it's maintaining its kind of a calmness.
Yeah,
all right.
Most of the time it's getting blurred, everything.
Blurred.
I can think and I can blur now anything.
Purposely blurring.
Purposely also I can do. I don't know, Bhante. Sound
It's
also
okay.
same.
That's why I mean. So when we are being familiar to this signless, so that's why Buddha's the suttas are telling. Now you not pay any attention to the signs, purposely, not paying attention to the signs. Sabba nimittanang amarsikaro. Not that you go through Vipassana process and do it, but you can purposely, or you're not paying attention to any signs. And animittacha dhatuya manasikaro. You pay attention to the signless. So signless state becomes a registered state in your mind now. You don't need Vipassana to have it now. It is registered there because that is the result. Result is available to you now, accessible to you now. So you switch off this and you switch into this. That is possible. That's stated in the suttas. Nothing to worry. I mean, that is a development actually.
Sound also same, Bhante. If I want, I can listen.
Yeah.
Unless I can't just forget everything.
Forget it. Mm-hmm.
After,
No problem.
I don't know, but that third eye one also is a different one. I mean, I don't know. When closing my eyes, go to some place and I can open, not physically opening the eyes.
Mm-hmm. So what you see?
Today I didn't see anything.
But sometimes you can see things through third eye.
Very previously I can see, but I am not interested into that now.
You mean predictions going to happen something in the future?
Most of the time I can see the books.
Books content. Yes, that's possible. No, it's not for me, by the way. Because there are some people who have that photocopy memory. You have heard? Because that is another skill some people are having. They read the book and they simply close it, and now they can remember each and every sentence in the book. So they have that photocopy memory, some extraordinary skill.
But sometimes I didn't read that book, but I can remind that book and see the content of that book, but I don't know accuracy.
Very interesting. So this, I mean, I heard this from Most Venerable Navini Aridhamma Thero. He has this. So he has the skill and he read, and so now he can close and now he can still see it. By seeing it, he can read it now. Not through the memory actually, but it's kind of a visual of the book is appearing even while the eyes are closed. Now he's reading it.
Yeah, previously, Bhante, when I have a question, sometimes that books are coming and giving me the information.
So that is how you pass the exam.
I think sometimes, yes.
So the photocopy memory.
Because I have good that during my when I am doing the chartered exams, I got island first. At that time also I don't know anything, but I can do something at the exam.
She cheated, no? Yeah. Interesting. By the way, I mean, these are some special skills that we might gain as our mind become more clear and, fairly cleansed, purified to some extent. It's all right, but
interestingly, sometimes I can see the paper before that.
Which paper?
Exam papers.
Exam paper. You can see before you receive it. Before you receive it. Yeah.
From the dreams.
From the dreams. No, it's not really maybe, I don't know. Now, these are some special skills sometimes our minds may have, but we are not open to it, we are not accessing them. But once our mind is less defiled and our minds are somewhat purified, so these extraordinary skills may appear. But we don't need to explore too much on this.
No,
so
I am not paying attention for those things.
Yeah.
Only that when...
By the way, while you were doing those, during those days, you are not meditating, are you? You're not meditating, yeah, that's the thing. That's not, once you are meditating, again it is available, but even without meditation, it is available. So it's a kind of a past habit, past skill available to some people, not something that we purposely develop it.
Skills are cheating.
So these are some extraordinary skills some people are having, and that's how sometimes people visualize things, they predict things. All this may be available, but we don't need to follow them, by the way. We don't need to believe them too much, give any importance to them. So these are side traps in a way, side tracks or side traps even. No need to, and we can simply concern about the defilements and how my making happens and purify the mind. That should be the goal. Good. Yeah. Hari.
Report number 4. Venerable Swamin Wahansa. Does learning the Chetasikas and identifying them as they arise hinder the progress? Theruvan Saranai.
No, I don't think so. If you know the Chetasikas, and if you can recognize them, how they are coming and going through your practice, it's an advantage. It's not a harmful thing. Now, say, for example, mindfulness is also like that. Say, any kind of a defilement also we can interpret as a Chetasika, lust as a Chetasika, anger as a Chetasika, maybe any other faith as a Chetasika. So many things, many different possibilities are there. Now say for example, when you are in the Dhammanupassana section, so the Kama Chanda, Vyapada, Tina Midda, Uddachaka Kucca, Vichikicha, all that different, also the hindrances are a kind of Chetasikas, we can recognize them precisely. And the Bojjangas are also like that, Sati, Dhamma Vichaya, Viriya, Piti, Passadhi, Samadhi, Upekka. So Buddha encouraged for you to recognize them, is possible, how they are coming and going. So if you have that capacity, it's all right. But see how they are coming and going, because they also have the nature to come and go, arise and pass away. Because this recognizing Chetasikas and knowing they are arising and passing away is very much like the Samatha Pubbangama Vipassana. So you develop fair amount of concentration and you emerge from that. Now you can access the very subtle Chetasikas. You can see the subtle Chetasikas, how they are coming and going. So it's all right. May I know who has written it? Yeah. So if it's happening, no, are you practicing like that? Yeah, Thero.
It has helped me a lot in my day-to-day life also. I can see, anger coming, anger and those feelings. So the moment it arises or before it arises, I know. So it's not me, it's not I, it's just the Teishtika that is coming.
Correct.
So I don't know whether I'm fooling myself, but I feel it's easier to sort of understand that it's not a person, but the action of all the Chetasika that is coming and going. So I don't know whether I'm fooling myself or whether I'm on the right track.
I feel you are all right, because basically you recognize them as mere Chetasikas.
And
you are not attributing a self to it.
Yeah.
You are not attributing a self to it. They are mere Chetasikas. They are coming and you see they are there, and later they go, they disappear. That also you know. So that's why in the Satipatthana it's beautifully mentioned. Anuppannassa kamachandassa uppado hoti tancha pajanati. When there is no kamachanda, now it is arising. You see that also. And uppannassa kamachandassa pahino hoti tancha pajanati. So there was kamachanda, but now it has gone, and you see that also.
And it helps to sort of understand it's not a person doing it.
Correct.
Just the action of the Chaitasika. So of course comes and goes, but helps a lot.
Good.
So it's okay.
Good. Yeah, it's all right. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Theruvan Saranai.
That's all. If there are any verbal questions.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who wants to talk to?
Sure. Please come. Can you come forward?
Bhante showed a glass and said not to go very further down, stay in the top and there's a prahana. Then once we do prahana, only go, when I do prahana, then it's go
deep. Yeah, that is also a possible thing. Now, you know that in certain suttas Buddha mentioned even the Arahant or even the Buddha or the nobles, they still practice jhana. But the difference is that they are not kind of absorbed to that as such. As a typical mundane person, they are not really has become that and trapped in that. Their consciousness is not that basically. So now say for example, now I look at this. Now when I look at this, if it is really a beautiful object, so my mind get completely absorbed it and my mind start being with it, adhere to it. So this is the type of defilement I have. Okay, so this is for a physical object, it can happen. Similarly, assume this is not a physical object, but it's a mental image. Now your eyes are closed and you see a mental image. And you see that mental image again and again and your mind become that. The consciousness become that. So you get absorbed to that. So that is also possible. So in the jhana, so the point is you have a very soft, very subtle, very gentle kind of a appearing or the nimitta, the sign, image, and you appreciate that, you feel it's a very beautiful one, and then you become that. So in the jhana, so that is in the rupavachara jhana, so that is very much the approach. But in the arupavachara jhana, so you have no such thing, but still that experience, so the feeling, that perception can be your foundation, can be your object for the consciousness to land upon. So still it is nimittanusari viññānaṁ hoti. That's how Buddha explains it. Still it is nimittanusari. Now you can read, if you want, Uddesa Vibhanga Sutta. So both scenarios are explained. So how one can practice jhana while trapped inside, while locked inside. So that is a kind of a hindrance. But on the other hand, without such kind of a trapping, without such kind of a locking, stucking, still you can practice jhana. So that is a kind of a tricky area, how the nobles or the Buddha or the Arahants are doing. So their consciousness, even though they practice jhana, we can say their consciousness is very much like an independent. It hasn't latched onto the state, hasn't latched onto the object.
No need to go to that state. I don't want to know when I prahana, when thoughts come prahana, then it's prahana, then it's suddenly go inside deep. That's what I got to know. I even did not know what is happening to me. Then from the two Swamin, the one said this is jhana, and also Bhante, there is another thing happen. It's like not here, like I am putting inside. My head is putting, throwing inside. Even I don't want.
Are you purposely doing or
no? Never do anything. Never do anything purposely.
Right.
Sucking
inside. Yeah. So that is the jhana approach.
It's very not like this one. It's very times even
strong.
Very strong way.
Yes.
And even then I got scared.
Exactly.
Because it's like I felt I could not
breathe. Die.
Yeah, very hardly happen. Yeah. And also now for someone else, it's today I learned a lot by listening to the others one. But my questions, I got answers.
Correct.
Now Bhante asked whether your head is getting fallen. Bhante, for me, even my breath is very subtle. I know it's slowly bending my head. It's not sleeping. I know it's not sleeping. Slowly, because there is not our Mitrigala monks, another monk, they say, keep your head straight. Keep your head. Then it's hard for me that Bhante does not know whether I am sleeping or I am meditating.
Correct.
Then when I feel my neck is falling, I always try to keep it up in front of that Swamin Wahanse. That's also hard for me. Then I cannot even go for the Animitta or anything, because I'm afraid that Bhante is, Swamin Wahanse is, I know, specially telling to me. That's also hard for me. In my normally now we have very gratitude for Dhamma.
Probably you can put something like this.
In my that sessions in Saturday, in that 1 hour, I experience all these things. Not today, this retreat. It means I see my body, then emptiness, and then going through inside also. All three
has happened.
Now when I went that going through inside, now Bhante say it's jhana, not going purposely, not doing purposely and not coming purposely. It suddenly come out. I don't stay a long time. It means within 1 hour I experience all these things. Things mean maybe 20 minutes. That's the way was happening in there, not here.
It's possible. Yes, it's possible. So that's why, that's why there's a separate subject called Jhana Mastery. So Jhana Mastery, what they are talking is that you have the control when you get absorbed, how long you get absorbed, and when you want to emerge. So all that takes to your hand. So that is the kind of a Jhana Mastery. So typically people can't do it. So while you are there, you immediately suck into it, and you can't come out of it. You are locked in it, and then once you lose the concentration, you automatically comes out of it. So that is what typically happens.
I don't go for meditation thinking these things happen.
Exactly. I understand.
Maybe those days when we start to meditate, we like things, they go to the emptiness or go into everything. Now don't accept anything. It automatically comes, Bhante.
So I feel, rather than more into that side, you better walk and recognize the defilements, abandon them, and that may give you a more progress.
Here I mostly did walking meditation.
That would be more advantageous from the Vipassana point of view, rather than spending fair amount of time in the concentrations and, even though it is maybe blissful, but still not much advantage from the Vipassana point of view.
But still I see these elements, still I see. Still I see even without meditating also I can feel these things when I come for a retreat. I can feel these things even at home.
But now you don't need to purposely see them, by the way.
Never do anything purposely, Bhante. Everything comes automatically. Those days won't come to those stages. Now not expecting anything, Bhante. Thank you. Today, this session I learned lot of answers came for my questions. A lot of answers came.
Good.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Okay, so we have spent almost 1 hour. I think there are no more questions. Then we can wind up the session. So we have received sharing of merits. 24th November, breakfast dane. To bless Professor Tiran Dias on his birthday. May he be blessed with good health and happiness throughout the year and ahead with the help of the Noble Triple Gem. Then today the lunch dana was offered by Manisha, Ranjani and family, and Dinesha and family. May the merits gained be helpful for them to realize their Dhamma wishes. May all their past away relatives have a good sansaric journey and attain path and fruition of Nibbana. So then we'll wind up the session, the whole thing of this month, November. So we have spent fair amount of time practicing, listening to Dhamma, discussing and all that. So all the merits what we have accrued, let's share with all the heavenly beings, all the other beings and whoever in need of merits, and even to our past relatives. And we wish these merits help us also to attain path, fruition, Nibbana. We'll recite the traditional verses. Ittavatacha amhehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkhantu mam parang. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Gamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you recite Namo Tassa 3 times to observe Ajivattamaka Sila.